Tonight on Beyond the Words, we're going to be getting real. We're going to be talking about
surviving divorce.
So let's get to it. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to our show. I am Lon.
And I'm Lisa.
And this is Beyond the Words. This is a show where we talk about faith, family, and relationships, and we discuss some practical things that you can do to help strengthen them. As we mentioned before, today we're going to be getting real. We're going to be talking about
surviving divorce.
Surviving divorce, and some things that you can do to help protect yourself going forward, and heal some of the healing processes. And really, tonight's show, it's daylight outside, so I'm thinking it's today. Tonight's show really is.
Are you going to do the whole thing speaking in tongues? Because you're just.
Yes. So really, tonight's show is more or less us kind of sharing a little bit more about our story. You know, like both of us have survived divorce. We've gone through it. I've gone through it twice. And yes, what do you call me?
A big dumb dummy.
But smart, because I ended up with you.
Yes.
And so we've both been through it. We're not professionals by any means, but we've gone through some stuff, and we're just regular people like you. And we've got our story. You've got your story, and we're going to share a little bit about our story, and that's and hopefully we can give you some pointers along the way to help you navigate through healing and all of those things. Now, we would love to connect with you. We'd love to have some conversations with you, and you can connect with us by just sending us, if I can find the right button to push, you can email us. Email us at Lon and Lisa at Go Beyond the Words. It's Lon and Lisa at Go Beyond the Words. We would love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your story. And also as well, if you've got ideas about what we should be talking about, maybe you've got some questions, or we've got some topics that we haven't covered, and things that you'd like for us to talk about, feel free to send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. It's all about connecting, and if the things that we're doing here on this show is helping you, that's what it's all about.
Right. And also, if you're not going through divorce, if it's not something that's affecting you, it's still a great show, because it might be something that can help you talk to one of your friends or someone who is going through it. So, these are good tips to help you, share with your friends, because even if it's not affecting you directly, divorce is rampant.
And it's a big deal. And it affects a lot more than a lot of people will let on.
Right.
Also, tonight is going to be a little bit different, because usually what we do is we wait until the end of our show to take some questions and things like that. We're going to try to change it up just a little bit. And I apologize for the cough. My allergies are just driving me nuts. So I think I'm going to pop a Halls. Is that okay?
Just don't munch on it.
Okay, maybe not. I'll hold off. I'll wait. I'll just take some water. But anyway, so instead of waiting until the very end to take our Q&A, we want you to engage us. So we've got our iPad here, and Davina's on. Hi, Davina. It's good to see you again. And so if you've got questions, specific questions about our story as we share, you can post them there in the comment section below. We'll see them here, and we'll maybe address them right here live. Live! Is it live or is it live?
It's live, everybody.
Yes, absolutely. So definitely post some comments. We'd love to know that you're here, and we'll do that. Yes. Yeah. We've got some exciting news. Here I go coughing.
Neither of us is pregnant. That is not the news.
That's not the news. We are not pregnant. Oh, we didn't mention Rufus.
I know.
We keep forgetting to involve
I was like,
him.
And you didn't do it.
And Rufus
again.
is here. Rufus is here. Yes, absolutely. But we have some pretty cool news about us.
We saw Solo.
We saw
Yay!
we saw Star Wars Solo. And
is that your news?
yes, that's the news. And we loved it. We loved it. I know there's a lot of like people out there who's like,
There are always people.
yeah, it's very divisive and whatnot, and why do we need it and so forth. I enjoyed it personally. I liked seeing Han and Lando and all of the adventures that they go on and that sort of thing. So I really enjoyed it. No, that's not the news though. The news is
We saw it twice.
we saw it twice. No,
Is that the news?
That's not the news. That's not the news. If you notice down in the corner here, you'll see this little symbol down here.
Next to Rufus.
Right there, right. Don't lick my hand, Rufus. I don't like that. It says SYMBIS assessment, and just this week, in fact, I'll show you we are now certified SYMBIS assessment facilitators. Now, what does that?
Rufus is not, because he didn't help with the test.
He didn't go through the training.
Well, he was here through all the training, but he didn't help with the test.
No, he didn't do the test. I think he would fail.
I don't know. He watched all the videos.
He did watch all the videos. So what that means is it doesn't mean that we're counselors or anything, although we could help with that. We're not certified counselors, but what we are is certified to do an assessment. Now, just to explain what SYMBIS is an acronym that stands for Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts. And Doctors Les and Leslie Parrott, you've heard me mention them. Yes, I have a man crush. They've got tons of research, and they've gone through the rigors of fleshing out the details of the assessment, and they've put together this thing. It's just an assessment. And if you're looking to get married, or maybe you've gone through marriage and you kind of want to get a good assessment of where you are in your marriage, there's a little survey that you can go online and you can take, and once and each person takes the assessment, right?
Individually, right.
And you do it separately. So the husband and the wife, they do it separately, apart from each other.
Separately apart from each other, not separately together.
Yes, not separately together. Well, not like in the same room and stuff, but just, because you want to answer truthfully and honestly, and you don't want to kind of hold back. So anyway, so you fill out, you do the survey, and then there's a whole process that it processes the data, and it spits out a report that basically talks about your personality styles and red flags, if there are red flags, communication styles, kind of takes into account your background. It even takes into account whether you've been married before. So if you've gone through a divorce, that's okay. You can still take the assessment, and it'll put all of that data together in a nice, neat little report. And it's not a pass-fail kind of thing. It's just a thing where it lets you know where you are as a couple and as individuals.
Right. And it gives you some skills.
It gives you some things to do, that'll help you navigate through marriage. And so it's a fantastic thing. And like we said, we've gone through and we've taken the test, and now we're certified. We can actually administer and facilitate, going through the report and talking with you about those things. So if you're interested in more information, send us an email, let us know, contact us. You can hit us up on Facebook, and we'll be glad to give you some more information about that if you're interested in doing that. But it's a great thing. And just to give you even a little bit more understanding, I'm going to play a little video. It's just a 45-second little video, but it kind of gives you an idea. This is a couple that actually went through the assessment and was part of our training, but just give it a look and see what you think.
We're Chris and Tony, and we just got married.
We met about 1.5 years ago, and Chris proposed to me by surprising me on my family vacation to Maui. It was the best proposal ever.
So after Tony and I got engaged, we talked about how committed we want to be towards our marriage, which is why we decided to take the SYMBIS assessment.
We'd read the book and we learned about the assessment. It was a no-brainer.
It showed us how our personalities mesh and how we can better leverage ourselves for one another.
It was great to learn about expectations, who's going to do what, and it was really helpful to learn about unspoken rules we had in our families bringing forth into our marriage.
It feels really good knowing that we are doing everything we can to start off our marriage on the right foot.
So that's just a little preview of what SYMBIS, the assessment test, is all about. And we're really excited about it. You're excited about it, right?
Yeah.
Yay! And it's really a cool thing. And like we've mentioned several times before, we're really passionate about seeing marriages and families succeed.
Absolutely.
And we want to be, someone who can help with that. Help facilitate that success story.
Absolutely.
So that's it. Are you ready to jump in and get real?
Yeah.
So we're going to just jump right in. That little SYMBIS thing is here, I'll take it off there. Okay, so today's topic, getting real about divorce, and it's basically surviving divorce. Again, we both have a story, and we want to share that, so it might get a little real. I don't know. We're going to power through it, though, and like I said, if you've got questions, shoot them at us, and we'll try to answer that. And we want to be as open and honest as we possibly can, and yet protective of the other parties involved, if that makes sense.
Especially the kids.
Yes,
So.
especially the kids. So, what do you? Who wants to go first? You want to go first?
We'll let Rufus go first.
Rufus gone first. He's gone first.
So I guess I can go first.
Okay.
So I guess my story started. I had been married for 18 years, and my then husband got a job in another city. So he moved and got an apartment in that city. And the kids were both in high school. It was Madison's senior year, which is why we didn't move with him. And he was supposed to come home every weekend, all those great plans that you have. And he didn't. He would spend his days off in the other city. And the marriage was never easy. And it was, as soon as he left, it was so much easier. So, as guilty as I feel about saying it, it was so nice
To actually
To
have some
actually-
calm,
yeah.
some peace.
Yeah. And so, he would always call and say, "I'm not coming home." And, there was always that kind of, good. But at the same time, he would always have excuses, and so it was frustrating, and he was missing a lot of activities that the kids were in, and so that was very frustrating. And so there was the level of frustration and the level of kind of relief. And so, I was trying to balance that out. So there were a lot of things. I was really single parenting. I was single, kind of single parenting the whole time, but, really that year I was single parenting. So the kids went to England on was if he was cheating on me, and of course he said he wasn't, and so anyway, he was cheating on me, and he denied it. This went on for a very long time, and finally there was an emergency, and I couldn't get a hold of him. And I looked up the phone bill, and at that time, when you looked up your phone bill, you could see all of the phone numbers that each phone had called.
Mm-hmm.
So I found this other phone number that had been called repeatedly. So I called that phone number, and it was the other person. And so she answered, and I asked for him, and she gave him the phone, and I told him what the emergency was, and he hung up on me. So then he told me that he thought we should start seeing other people. So I was like, well, I think one of us already is. But I always said that I would never divorce. And I stayed faithful to the marriage for a full year after that. And I never thought divorce was going to be an option. I did Bible studies, did everything. I had a friend who was a pastor counsel me, and it was always with the intention that, the marriage would eventually be saved.
Mm-hmm.
And so after that year, it was almost to the day a year that he came to me and said that he wanted an open marriage. And so basically he wanted us to start, the marriage to...
Right. To involve other people.
Right. So, I said absolutely not. I wouldn't, because our physical relationship had ended, but he wanted that to begin again, basically. And so I said that, we needed to get a divorce. And then he told me that, he threw in my face, you said you'd never get divorced. And, my friend said that, God loved me, and I said this, I think, on our first show. She said that the divorce God hates is the divorce that my ex had already given me, which was not the divorce on paper, but the divorce from our marriage that had already happened. So, so I went ahead and filed, and it was a nightmare. It was horrible. So the best advice I can give, though, is be honest with your kids, but don't be too honest. They don't need all of the details.
So not necessarily not be honest, but
Right.
but they don't need to know all the details about
Right. Because I had not been telling them anything, and so someone told me, they need to know what's going on, and so I went from not telling them anything to telling them probably too much, giving them too much information, and I kind of look back on that, and I kind of regret how much information I gave them. They didn't need all of the details that I gave them. So,
and of course they're high school age, so
right.
So
they're Madison had graduated at that point.
Right.
And
so they're not, but they're not like little kids.
Right. Yeah. No. But yeah, they didn't need names and things like that. So I do regret that.
Yeah.
But you do need to be honest with your kids about a lot of it. But they don't need too many details.
Right.
But it is. But you do need to. You do need to be honest, and you do need to protect yourself. And then, as soon as it's over, you need it to be over. You don't need to rehash everything. You don't need, because our kids were older, I felt like I could just end the relationship with my ex-husband because it was so toxic for me. There are people who can have a good relationship with their exes, and if you can, fine, do it. But I didn't feel like for me I could, and that's okay. And if whatever works for you is fine, but keep yourself healthy and keep yourself protected. That's okay. And it doesn't mean you're holding on to anything. It doesn't mean that, whatever works for you.
Yeah.
So
yours ended very similarly to in some ways, very similarly to the way mine ended, but in that it was toxic. It's difficult when you have someone that is continuously wanting to fight you or throw something in your face, especially after it's all said and done. Really what you're just trying to do is be as healthy as you can, mentally, physically, emotionally. You're trying to be healthy. You're trying to be a parent to your kids, and a parent to a dog that just does not know how to settle down. And it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to know. It's hard to know what to say to your kids too.
Right.
And I still struggle with that, because there are things that I want to talk to my kids about that how do you talk to your kids about the real situation without harming the relationship that they have with their other parent. So that was always a difficult thing for me. Mine, let's see, I was married for right about 10 years, just over 10 years. And we both had issues. I mean, looking back, and it's always a good thing to when you look back at those situations, to kind of reflect on not just what the other person did, but what behaviors, what things did I bring and do that led us to the place of not being able to be together and not being able to work through things. And so as I look back on my own situation, I can tell you, first of all, that even before I got married the first time, I really wasn't whole. I wasn't whole. When I say that, what I mean is I wasn't really able to be okay with just being myself, with just being me, and not attached to anybody. I continuously wanted that companionship. I wanted that, and it was difficult because I had friends. It's not like I didn't have friends or anything like that, but I wanted that close, soul relationship with someone. And so in my mind, I was thinking, well, if I found someone who, was was a Christian. They said they were a Christian. They went to church, and I even went so far as to go, well, if they've got parents that are still together, and their parents didn't go through divorce, then that increases your chances. I thought about all of these different things, but I never really focused on, I guess, myself, like in just being me,
Right.
and just doing my thing and what
Right.
God is calling me to do. And so that was a difficult thing. So I was married for 10 years, and like your own, we didn't have a great marriage. There were some okay times, but as a whole, it was not so great. Excuse me. We certainly didn't see eye to eye on parenting. We didn't seem to be able to communicate. Every time I would try to communicate at that, that deeper, below the surface level, to connect in a deeper way, for whatever reason, it just would backfire. I could never get deeper. It was always scratch the surface conversation. It was, well, we're gonna plant some flowers, and we're gonna do this for the kids, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do, it was all, just surface level stuff, and I really wanted to get deeper. I wanted to know the person, and I wanted them to know me, because I wanted to be connected to them. And every time we'd try to go there, it would just end up falling apart. So that was a huge deal. For us too, it was, we talked a little bit about love languages, right? and I'm a very physical touch is one of my main things. I want to feel like my spouse loves me that way, and I never felt that. It was always, I'm dying inside, because I'm not getting the soul connection, and I'm not getting the physical connection. I'm not getting that. It was almost just like a business relationship, and that was it. That was the extent of it. It was just business, What are you laughing at? It's just business. Anyway, so that didn't fare well on us. I'm not going to lie. There were some other issues because of and I'm not going to say it's strictly because of the physical thing. It wasn't her fault, but like, I got into some pornography, and that wasn't cool. That certainly didn't help, because once she found out, then she felt like I was, even though I wasn't with another woman, I was still with another woman, and so that's a big deal. And so, but not having the physical relationship, it was like, okay, I'm stuck. What do I do? I don't even know. I don't know how to function in that. And so anyway, I had that to deal with as well. And then, of course, towards the end, we broke up. We separated for a while because, there was some behaviors that wasn't good. There was some partying behaviors that I didn't agree with my ex, and there were several things that happened that just I don't want to get too much. I don't know how specific I can get without giving you too many details, but it wasn't good. It was just falling apart, and I had gone away with a friend to go to a Titans football game, And when I came back, I found out that she had gone to a party down the street and had gone back to our house with another guy. And the kids were there. The kids were, I mean, she was supposed to be taking care of the kids. She actually got, I guess, so drunk that she passed out. At least that's what I heard. And was taken back home by the other guy, and he stayed with her. And then somebody else had taken our kids and taken them back home. And when they walked in the front door, you know, they were on the couch. Probably not doing anything. I don't know. Maybe they were. I can't. You know, I don't know the details of that, and it doesn't really matter. But it just confirmed that there was somebody else in the picture, and several people were going to confront her on what was going on. And so after they confronted her, she basically turned the story around to say that it was all my fault, and that I was being abusive to her and abusive to the kids, and and it was all my fault. And so then thus it just went completely down that track. And the divorce itself was horrible. I mean, it was really, really bad. It was there was a period where she claimed that I was being so abusive that she filed a restraining order against me. So I couldn't see the kids. This was right at Christmas time too, right after Thanksgiving. and so the restraining order went into effect. I couldn't talk to them or see them or anything like that for at least a couple of months, because we kept waiting on a court date to go, and the court was just like, oh, we'll just do it in February. Never mind that the kids are there, and
Right.
you know, I have no way of seeing the kids or anything like that. So then there was a lot of other stuff, like the money thing. Like we, in the process of you know, separating and everything, I get paid once a month, right? At the very end of the month. And at the time, we hadn't split our account. So I wake up the day after I get paid, and there's $75 left in the account. $75. And I just remember going, how in the heck am I going to make it a whole month, pay for gas to get to work, food to eat? You know, what am I going to do for a whole month living on $75? Luckily, I had a buddy of mine that allowed me to stay with him for the month, and I paid him back after the first month or whatever. I was able to make things work out. And then of course I had a lot of friends in a church that I had become friends with. Not the church that we went to. That was completely gone at that point. But it's so amazing that the people that we knew, that knew both of us, nobody wanted to get their hands dirty. Nobody wanted to take any, and I understand that, I guess. It's just, you know, but when you see somebody clearly saying that things are happening when they're not,
Right.
and I mean, going through the divorce and going through supervised visits and all of that, and you know, the supervisors there are looking at me and how I interact with the kids, and the kids are,
We'll see how the kids are interacting with you.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
That's the story right there.
And that's the story. And they're going, like we have seen abuse cases,
Right.
and this is not one of them.
Right.
And they even told that to her, and they said, you know, hey, this is not, I know what you're saying, but there's no evidence here whatsoever to even remotely think that this is a possibility. And funny thing is that after she got told that, she went and tried to get the supervisors fired because they weren't supervising me. So anyway, that whole thing went through almost 2 years. of the divorce. That divorce went through almost 2 years. And there was a lot of other stuff that happened throughout all of that. I won't go too much into detail at this point about more of that stuff. But that's basically my story. You know, and I just remember on several occasions breaking down, going, how am I going to, you know, all of the dreams and the expectations that I had of being a dad, wanting to do things with my kids, and all of that stuff, and all of that's gone now.
Right.
I mean, I can't get that back.
Right.
And struggling to see, you know, how, you know, because at that point I felt like, you know, my whole world had just been completely just ripped out from under me. And so that was painful. Mm-hmm. It was painful. But what I have learned now, that my second divorce wasn't nearly as bad, I guess, because it was, number one, we didn't have kids together. That was, I guess, that was a good thing. But also, but it was painful too in a different way, because my second divorce, I actually found her in bed with another guy, and so, I mean, what can you do? But you know, the good news, I guess, about my second ex is that she actually admitted that she was wrong, which I will applaud her for that, even though it was hurtful and it was painful. But I've forgiven them. You know, that's a big part of healing is learning how to forgive. I wish that we could forgive like God forgives. But unfortunately, we're human, so all of those memories and all of that pain and everything is stuck with you. So you don't know how to, you know, sometimes you just don't know how to deal with that. So when, like you were saying, you know, after it was over, you know, there's some couples that can continue being friends.
Right.
We couldn't. I can't do that.
Right. But, you know, there are some... You choose your friends depending on where you are in life, and there's some people that you just choose not to be friends with, and that's okay. It's really okay not to be friends with some people. Mm-hmm. They're, you know, that's just not where I am in life. I just don't want to go out and drink and party, and that's it's okay. It's okay that those aren't the people that you want to be friends with. And just because someone was in your life, you don't have to be friends with them, and that's okay.
That doesn't mean be rude to them.
Right.
I mean, obviously, like in my first ex-wife, we're both parenting our kids, and even though we don't see eye to eye on how we should parent them, we still are cordial. You know, like when I go pick up the kids and when she picks up the kids, there's very little interaction. I did learn that anytime that I have any interaction with her, it has to be in writing, or I gotta have a videotape recorder or some sort of recording device handy, because there are things that she will say that happened that didn't happen.
Yeah. Is it okay if I'm not friends with Rufus?
It's very okay if you... Rufus, what is going... This is not wrestling with Rufus Day. Oh my gosh, buddy.
He also has gas, so just so everybody knows.
Oh, okay. That's pleasing to know.
Well, it's just the face.
It is.
I'm like, oh.
Oh, that's what it was. I thought you were...
No, it's like, oh my gosh. Oh, I'm over here trying not to die.
Right.
But yeah, just... You know, choose your friends. You know, you can choose your friends. You're a grown-up.
Yes, absolutely. So that's a little bit about our story. Obviously, there's a lot more details and things like that. But I just want to invite you, if you've got questions, submit them in the comments below. We'd love to answer whatever questions you have. Again, this is kind of more like a show where we're just trying to be real and show you that we're just real people, and we struggle just like everybody else, but we have learned some things, and we want to help give you some pointers too on how to survive those things. I think one of the biggest thing that I learned out of coming through all of that is you have to be healthy yourself. You have to be willing to go, okay, this is my life. Mm-hmm. And if it's just me, if God wants me to just be it to be just me, then that's okay. I need to be okay with that, you know, and I need to be real with myself in a place where, you know, whoever, if somebody's going to be interested in me, they have to be interested in me,
right?
Not their perception of me or what,
yes,
you know, what I'm trying to be for them,
right?
But just be me.
Yeah.
And if they love me, if they want to be with me, obviously you wanted to be with me.
You were okay.
Then they'll be with you, you know. And so that's
Yeah.
a big learning lesson.
Get yourself healthy.
Get yourself healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. So, what else? Anything else?
No. I
Okay.
think just go to
So
our
we're
next.
gonna give you just a couple of little tidbits, takeaways, if you will, and then we'll wrap up our show tonight. The first thing is, and I just said it, excuse me, is take your time. Mm-hmm. Going through a divorce is a huge deal, mentally, emotionally. I mean, even though you might walk away thinking I'm okay with myself,
Right.
Some of that stuff doesn't hit you until way on, and I think they said that I don't remember exactly what the professionals say how much time you should give yourself. But there is, maybe I'll look it up for next week or something. But there's an actual study that was done that suggests, and some professionals that suggest that for every year that you're married, you give yourself X number of months or even years to heal before you get into another relationship.
Oh, that's a good
And so I'll look that up and maybe share that next week. But take your time.
Yeah.
Don't rush into anything, because again, it is a very traumatic experience.
Yeah. And you should mourn your marriage.
And mourn
it's
it.
like a death.
Give yourself time to mourn.
Yeah.
It is like a death. I mean,
Sometimes you wish.
sometimes you wish it was a death.
What? Did I say that?
Oh, that's terrible. Okay. But
Okay.
Yes. But for real. But give yourself some time. The second thing, and this is really more towards, you know, if you were married and you had kids with your ex, mm-hmm. This is really important. Make your kids a priority.
Right.
Don't go jumping into another relationship and without understanding that your kids, not only are you mourning the death of a marriage, but your kids are also mourning the death of a family, and especially if they're young,
Right.
they don't know how to deal with it. They just, you know, I mean, I know people say, well, kids are resilient,
Right.
and they are,
Right.
but it really does a number on the kids. I mean,
Right.
I can tell you just in my own experience
Right.
that it makes a huge difference.
Right. Now, you don't want to make your kids the number one priority. You don't want everything to revolve around the kids, but you want to make them a priority.
Right. It's there's a difference in allowing them to rule your world
Right.
and actually making them a priority. It's
Perfect.
Did I say it right? Okay, good. It's not about making them the center of your world,
Right.
but it's making them a priority. It's letting them know that you understand that this traumatic thing has just happened.
Right.
And you want to allow them the freedom to express themselves, to talk, to let you know what they're feeling inside, and all of those things.
But
Because
they still need rules and boundaries.
yeah, they still need rules and boundaries. Yes, they still do need those things.
Probably even more so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
And also, you don't want 5 minutes after you're divorced, here's your new mommy. Oh, no, here's your new mommy. You don't want to date everybody that walks by and introduce them.
Yeah, I would say that like there were a lot of women that I dated. What?
A lot.
Well, not a lot. Like I can probably count them on one hand, But I'm just saying, but there were only two that actually met my.
There were a lot of women that I dated, like 200-300. Hold on, I have a list right here. These are all the
No,
women
you
that
know
I
what I
dated.
mean. I'm just saying that there was
Did
more
you
than.
hear? Did you hear what he said? There were a lot of women that
There
I
were a lot of
dated.
women that I dated. Yes, no, I don't mean it that way.
That's what he said.
But actually, like I was trying to say, don't cut me off.
There were a lot of women that I dated.
Is that you you don't want to just start dating someone and then introduce them to your kids because they can get confused. They don't know what to think about it, what to feel about it. Give it some time and make sure before you introduce your kids to the next person, make sure that you're serious about them and make sure that it's going the way you want it to go. And then finally, hang on a second. And then the final thing that I want to share with you is, and really this is the obvious from a Christian perspective, is put God first. I know that's very cliche to say, but really, God has to come first in your life before anything else. I mean, even in your marriage, you serve the Lord first, and then you serve your spouse, and then your kids, and so on and so on. So, that being said, I want to share a couple of scripture with you just to kind of show you what I'm talking about. We'll start with, well, it's just one scripture really, and it's Matthew 6:33. That says, what you should want most is God's kingdom and doing what He wants you to do. Then He will give you all these other things that you need. And I'm going to give you another version of that scripture, one that is a little bit more. Well, Rufus, come on, buddy. Let's see if I can get to it. For some reason it's not. Be still, bud. Be still, buddy. Okay, it's not coming up. Well, I'll just read it to you because for some reason it's not coming up. But the other version from this is the ASV version says, "But seek ye first the kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you." The idea is that you first seek what God wants in your life, and He will provide the things that you need, including a spouse. I had to get to a place where I was okay being by myself before I even met you.
Yep. On the beach.
Yep, and that's what happened.
Said it to Beverly Linton.
That's right. That's right. So, do we have a question or anything? Uh-oh. What happened? What happened? Okay, hold on. Hold on. Hold your horses here. Let me see if I can fix this. Social title. That's why. Okay. All right, now try it. There we go. That's Lucas. Here's to new beginnings, and that's true. It's great. It's great when you have a new beginning. We just want to give you some ideas, some things to kind of think about as you're beginning that new relationship, to keep in mind and be aware of. So, Davina says, so grateful to have you as a brother and sister in Christ. We are grateful to have you, Davina.
Yes.
And listen, we're still praying for Steve.
Yeah,
and we know the hardship. I mean, we don't know it.
Yeah.
You know, you're in it, we're not. But
tell him to take a deep breath. Take a deep breath.
Deep breath. Yes, absolutely.
And Pat says, good advice.
Pat says, good advice.
I've never been able to understand how a person can move so quickly. I know. Take your time.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time. Well, Pat did it, and I'll just speak from my own personal experience. For me, once I left the relationship, I felt like I was so starved of companionship that I kind of reached out to just anybody who would pay me some attention, and that led me to my second marriage, which was really just a mistake. It was just I should not have gotten involved again for quite some time. I mean, we spent 10 years together, so it takes a considerable amount of time to heal from that and to really get on solid ground before going to that next step. So yeah, and that's why people do it. People think I gotta find somebody because I gotta there's this hole, this void in my life that I need something to fill it. And really the answer is Christ. Christ is the thing that we should be using to fill it. So anyway, well, before we go, I'm gonna just share a couple of things, a couple last things with you.
Oh, I didn't know about this. What are you sharing?
Well, nothing like
He's gonna
huge.
tap dance.
No, I was just going to say, if you like this video and you like what we're doing, please share it with all your friends and people who you think might, gain some insight out of watching the video. Share it and like us. And if you would subscribe to our channel on YouTube, that'll help us get a lot better ranking in YouTube, and that'll help get our message out too. And while you're here, I'm just going to show you real quick. If you, let me see if I can get to it. Okay, so let me just show you real quick. This is our Facebook page. Most of you that are watching us have been here, and just wanted to share with you a couple of things over here on this side of the screen, on the left side, on these tabs here. There's a YouTube tab, and so if you're watching us from Facebook, you can click on the YouTube tab, and that'll bring you to this page. And of course, this video will change every week as we do videos. But right down here, there's this little red YouTube button, and you can click that to either to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And so we would surely appreciate you doing that. That would help us out tremendously. And then finally, I just wanted to share with you a couple other things. Every week, we didn't do it tonight because we had the SYMBIS thing that we were going to share. But usually on our live shows, we have this little clip, little video we call The Adventures of Lon and Lisa, where Lisa and I go somewhere, we do something, maybe we go shopping or whatever, and just some crazy experiences that we like to throw out there. And I wanted to share with you that those are actually available on YouTube for you to watch as well.
For a small fee.
No, don't tell them that. Don't listen to her.
They're
Come on.
free, guys.
But you can watch them. You don't have to watch the entire live show again to go see those little clips. We've actually, put them on a little thing so that you can see them. And so this is our YouTube page. This is my version, but if you'll notice down here, we've got a little playlist that says the Midweek Minute, and then, of course, that's for our Wednesday little midweek minutes that we put out there. Then there's our live shows, and then down here you can see here's the Adventures of Lon and Lisa, and here's a bunch of little videos that we put together that you can scroll through and watch. And they're just, like I said, just little videos, clips of our own life that we want to share with you, and we hope that you enjoy those things and get a kick out of seeing us be crazy and funny, and
They're hilarious.
they're hilarious. Anyway, that is our show for this evening. You feel
Rufus
okay?
escaped. Do I feel okay? I'm okay.
Rufus escaped?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're gonna leave you with this. Oh, that was the wrong chord. You don't have your Cheetos.
Rufus ate them all.
Rufus ate the Cheetos. So we'll leave you with this. We're glad that you were here with us, and tune in next week. We'll be, well, I don't know what we're going to talk about.
We're talking about tap dancing hamsters.
Tap dancing hamsters. Do we have hamsters?
We will next week.
All right. Well, on that note, may tomorrow be a perfect day. May you find love and laughter along the way.
And Cheetos.
And Cheetos. May God keep you in His tender care till He brings us together again.
Good
Good night, everybody.